So yeah, I'll just get right to it. The differences between an oligarch and a true politician. The behavioral competencies of a true politician will be understood by the time I'm done running through the point. A tree is known by its fruit. So it is that a man is known by his behavior. We can tell a lot about a person from the way they behave, the things they do, how they act, their actions, and all of that. So the oligarch and the rest of the charlatans who dominate Nigeria's political space, or maybe let me just, okay, this really is applicable to oligarchs everywhere. You know, oligarchs who wade into politics. What I'm going to discuss is how they behave. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's in Nigeria, on the continent, the African continent, or anywhere else in the world. The behavior is the same. It's the behavior is a constant. You know, so the oligarch and the rest of the charlatans are egotistic, as they invariably only care about gratifying their ego. A true political, on the other hand, is selfless and is concerned about the well-being of his constituents. A strong man, or the demagogue, remember I'd called them all, the umbrella word for all of this group on one end is hucksters or hustlers, you know. So the strong man, the charlatan, the opportunist, the populist. My definition of populist may not fit with the generic definition. This is what I mean by a populist. That person who wades into politics and whips up sentiments, you know, says the right things to grab and capture the attention of people. The only reason he says these things, like if he says, oh, so and so person hasn't built hospitals, the only reason he's saying that is because he knows it's a deficit and that the people need hospitals. So he's saying the right things to gather or to garner attention to himself, not because he truly wants to build hospitals, not because he's truly interested in the well-being of others. So a strong man or the demagogue is only interested in power for selfish reasons. They never go into politics to serve others. Never. I mean, you just begin to observe from henceforth. A politician is people-centric and will seek political power so he can influence decisions, write and support policies that will benefit the members of a society or the members of his society. The average oligarch is insecure and myopic. His insecurities will cause him to surround himself with sycophants, that is, house lickers, people who want favors from him, you know, who would kiss his ass just to get what they want. Of course, oligarchs can only surround themselves with people like themselves, men without integrity, men without compassion, men without a conscience. A true political or a real politician is visionary, confident, and broad-minded. The average oligarch, why did I say the average oligarch? Oligarchs, all of them, are literate but not educated. At least in the Nigerian situation, we understand how that is because they've equally passed through an education, they've literally passed through and they've actually been indoctrinated. Remember what I said in the first clip. They've received an education, all right, yes, but they're not educated. They actually really are uneducated literate. Because let me explain this. To be literate, when you say somebody is literate, it doesn't mean the person is educated. What literacy means is this, that you can read and write and you can do numeracy. That's all. That's all that word means. So if I say somebody is uneducated, you know, an uneducated literate is somebody who is literate, yes, can read, write, and do numeracy, but their minds are vapid. Their minds are empty. There's nothing in their mind. Their minds are shriveled, dried, just like their brain is. Because for you to be a decent person, you truly would have had a rounded education. So yes, the hucksters are literate, but they're not educated. It's the reason why they can do the things they do. A truly educated person would never exploit other people, cheat people, take for himself what belongs to everybody. How can one man or a few men, how can 10 people sit over what belongs to 1 million people? That's evil. That's outright evil. And it only takes a person who is uneducated, whose mind is closed and narrow, to do such. A politician is knowledgeable and of course is educated, so is knowledgeable, understands abstract concepts, understands economics, philosophy, is a good student of history, understands international trade, and as a result is able and is adept at negotiating advantageous geopolitical deals for his constituents. For you to be able to sit at a table with international leaders and be able to say intelligible things, you must have a good sense of history. You must understand trade, international trade, domestic trade, geopolitics. I said earlier that this world is a game. That's where geopolitics comes in. Nigerians aren't aware of this. Large swathes of Africans, not just Nigerians, this world is a game. The reason why we've been failing at it is because we aren't even aware there's a game going on. It's a game. To win at the game, you must be privy to the rules of the game and then be able to, it's just like chess or Scrabble, and then be able to position yourself and then be able, to enter into the fray, position yourself to win. Africans aren't winning because we don't understand there is a game going on. With no ideology, the typical demagogue or kleptocrat is brash, uncouth, and callous. The only ideology they know or are aware of is stomach infrastructure. They just want to fill their belly. Greedy gluttons. They just want to fill their belly at the expense of everybody else. A true politician understands money to be, it's empathetic. A true politician is empathetic and compassionate. Is a true democrat. The hucksters amass money to buy people's loyalty. They amass money for different reasons, One of the reasons they do this is to buy loyalty. Having nothing else to offer, they must steal from the public coffers to buy people's loyalty. Because if you really do what you're supposed to do, if you put yourself out as a leader and you serve your people, they'll be loyal to you. You won't need to have to use money to buy loyalty. But because these men are vapid, these individuals are vapid, they're empty, nothing in their skull, and their hearts are shriveled, is the reason why they have to go all over the place buying the loyalty of individuals who are ignorant. People they can buy. When a person is desperate, when a person is on survival mode, they become a prey for the predator. So that's exactly what is happening when these oligarchs go to grassroots level to buy the votes or buy the attention of people at grassroots, because these are people who are on survival mode. So I don't fault the people. I can only fault the oligarchs and the rest of us Nigerians who know the right thing and fail to get involved in Nigeria's political process. We can't keep saying, the people at the grassroots keep voting. Yes, because this corruptible element go and seek them out. They don't know any better. We do. So we need to be the one to get in the fray. But I know that takes a lot of boldness and courage, and not that many people have it. The confidence, the courage, the boldness to get into politics. Politics takes a lot, I won't deny that, but it's what we've got to do. But the reason a lot of Nigerians don't have that confidence in themselves, I've already listed in the previous clip. Religion dumbs people down. Religion takes away your power. It disempowers you. It robs you of your confidence. It robs you of the ability to be self-reliant. The education system doesn't make you self-reliant. Religion then comes along and beats you down the more. So at the end of the day, people are weak, no confidence. You just find Nigerians talk, everybody's talking about the problem. Everybody's harping on the problem. For Pete's sake, we all know what the problems are. What we need to do is solve the problem. We need to become problem solvers as opposed to being problem talkers. People who just talk about the problem all day long. I mean, you go to I've been invited to several platforms, social media platforms, WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp especially. And I got in because I thought we were going to sit and discuss solutions, actionable point was what I thought we were going to discuss. But at the end of the day, people are just posting problems and discussing the problems. We all know what the problems are. Let me move on. A true politician understands money to be a tool and has no need to steal taxpayers' funds to enrich himself. People who steal from other people are criminals. It doesn't matter at what level of society you are, whether you're a pickpocket, whether you're sitting in your office and doing it, or you're doing it at the political level. You're a criminal. The oligarch has no regard for the rule of law. A true politician respects people and respects institutions. That is, respect the rule of law. The oligarch and the rest of the charlatans does not value education. This is understandable since he's just merely literate and not educated himself, like I explained earlier. A true politician understands the value of education as a tool of empowerment and will pursue policies to this effect. Will pursue policies that will empower the everyday people, that will empower a child to grow and become confident and self-reliant. This is actually one of the key traits to identify a people-oriented politician. A true politico wants to empower the next man. Oligarchs instead want to suppress people. They need to keep suppressing them so that they can keep them in ignorance, and then they can continue to straddle, sit over them, oppress them, and exploit them. Oligarchs are feudal in their orientation. I just said it. They want to keep everybody subservient. They want to keep everybody beneath them. A true politician is egalitarian, and human capital development is a priority for a true politician. And this would always be addressed by the provision of socio-economic infrastructure, education, quality education, healthcare system. They prioritize these things because they know it's important that you get education to open up your mind, that healthcare facilities are available so that if you fall sick, you can get treated, become well, and become productive to society. Because what's the point if a person is educated and if something goes wrong in their physical body, they can't get it, it can't be addressed, it can't be treated. So education is important, healthcare facility is important. As much as there are those who argue that the states need more autonomy so that they can develop. And I wonder, okay, fine, if you say certain things that are federal government responsibility is being shirked, what about those things that are state government responsibility, like healthcare facilities? Why aren't these being developed by the state actors, the governors, the legislative arm of the state, the governors, yes, the local government chairmen, the councillors? Why aren't they doing what they're in office for? Every time I hear people argue like that, I say to them, what you're doing inadvertently is giving these lazy, indolent men a pass. You're excusing the inefficiency. And this is ignorance as well. It's either ignorance or, stupidity. Inability to think things through objectively. States aren't performing, doing what is expected of them because the actors are lazy. It's just as simple as that. They are inefficient and ineffective. They're not good managers of resources. A huckster in politics, if he builds infrastructure at all, it is for kickbacks. It is for the kickbacks he can get for himself and his cronies. For a true politician, infrastructure are prioritized and are developed for the benefit of all. An oligarch is bigoted because it would only commission projects solely for the benefit he can harness from it, for the benefit he can get from it, the kickbacks he'll get from it. For example, he can, another example, other than kickbacks, another thing he could do, or they would do, is like, for example, build a bridge or a road to their home. So they would commission that project because it's their hometown, or build a bridge in their hometown or their spouse's hometown. Projects are prioritized on need basis and on budgetary allotment. So whatever money is available for, they will do. Where it is needed, where projects are needed, based on merit. All decisions are merit-based. The oligarch runs government like a personal empire. Meritocracy is the parameter and the guiding principle for a politician. That's a true democrat. The oligarch literally knows nothing about statecraft. A politician is adept at statecraft. That is the business of building a nation or things from ground up. An example of this in history is Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, who in a single generation developed a backwater malaria-infested country into a signature, a world-class signature. I can bring this home and cite an example of an individual whose legacy is yet to be surpassed, and that is the person of the late sage Obafemi Awolowo, who as premier of the defunct Western Region Nigeria, along with other party stalwarts, that's the Action Group, and Chief Adebo, Simeon Adebo, who was the head of civil service Western Region Nigeria, were able to put to good use the resources at their disposal. The legacy they were able to build from that, we still actually enjoy the legacies they built. I mean, education, a good example is the education policy they had back in the 50s. Many of those, the benefit of that is still quite telling in that region of Nigeria. Many of those who benefited largely from that magnanimous policy are still around today to attest to this. For a true political, accountability, transparency are key. We can't say this for the oligarchs who run things in this country. The oligarchs in Nigeria, like oligarchs anywhere else in the world, is not in politics to serve, but to exert control over a large number of people and corner juicy projects for himself and his cronies. Amassing wealth at taxpayers' expense is the oligarchs stuck in trade, regardless of where they may be in the world. Look at politics in places that were once thought to be the bastion of democracy, e.g., the US, the United States, where the political actors in the GOP, the Republican and the Democratic Party, act in ways that shortchange the average American citizen. The palpable dysfunction is noticeable everywhere. The political dysfunction is noticeable everywhere. For me, the cue I'm taking from this and I'm sharing with you is that it's the cue that we need to not just, particularly Africans, Nigerians, to get us, those of us who know what to do, those of us who know what to do, who understand what is going on. We need to get off our ass, okay? We need to take back our power and build Nigeria back up. Nobody will do this for us. Nobody. Until I come your way next time, it's Yetunde Olokun saying,